What does it mean to wear both the Dastard and the British Army uniform? Signaller Sharanveer Singh Hira is a young Sikh reservist who's balancing battlefield radios, university lectures, and centuries of martial tradition. From growing up in West London to leading the Brunel Sikh Society, from reciting an oath of allegiance to representing the Sikh turban on military exercises. This episode dives into faith, service, and representation in a way you've never heard before. This is not just about one soldier, it's about visibility, history, and what it means to serve with your identity intact. So let's get into it. I think I'm just more impressed at how smart he is. I don't think I've had a guest smarter than this, and it actually makes me feel really underdressed. So yeah, apologies for that. But no, like starting right at the beginning, then I want to get an idea of kind of your family, your upbringing, your childhood, kind of like where were you born, where were you raised, how did that kind of mold you into who you are today, and is there like a history of being in the army in your family? Was there a reason for why you joined the army? Like, because to be honest, I grew up in a very anti-establishment household. So someone in my household to join the army would be interesting to say the least, right?
Yeah.
So what was going on over there?
So I grew up in West London. Went to the local primary school there. And yeah, I was always like an athletic person. I was always taking part in the sports day, like the 100 meters and stuff. It was really fun. And so that sort of led me into the physical side, the PT side of the army. Army wasn't an option at the time. I didn't think about it. But obviously growing up, going through the years, obviously doing my SATs and stuff, there was a movie, Jasad Zaleh. And so, I went to the cinemas, I watched it like 3 times in the cinemas, and it really inspired me, our history, and, the army, the Khalsa Forge we had. And so, it really resonated with me as well. And so, you could say that was one of the points that motivated me to join the army. Obviously that was back then, but I didn't look at joining the army until obviously doing my GCSEs. I spoke about it with my parents. I even thought about joining the special forces, but
and what made you not join the special
forces? It was more family.
Oh, okay.
So
in terms of they were concerned about what you would.
No, just my future, because obviously fair. Just like it's special forces, you have to stay under the radar and stuff. So it's a sensitive topic, essentially. So I thought,
and it makes it sensitive for them as well. Then,
exactly,
right?
exactly. So, so obviously I did my research and stuff, and my dad, he would always like teach me about Sikh history and stuff. So like Har Singh Nalwar, his story was very, very, very rich as well. So all these stories about our history, it really inspired me. So it was the main drive. Obviously, everyone knows that Sikhs were known as the warrior religion. We have our own army, the Khalsa army as well. So that did inspire me, definitely. So I applied when I was 18. When I was in sixth form, I went to sixth form, GNSA, Sikh Academy. So I was grateful to have been there as well. Obviously, had good Maharaj with me as well. So really grateful. Applied when I was 18. Took me a year to get in. It's a very long process.
What does the process involve then? Because as in I've never, as in I have no idea. So I'd love to you have to do a physical test.
Physical tests. Yeah, you got
intelligence test.
Yeah, basically. Trying to remember now. I might forget some things.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we had, obviously, there was a bleep test. So first off, it's all admin. It's just paperwork, medical history. So going to your GP, asking for paper, like getting the documents from them of all your medical history, and then obviously handing that in to whatever chosen unit.
Okay. Are there any minimum requirements? Like you can't be less than a certain height or over a certain weight?
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. But
as in it didn't affect you, though,
right? It didn't affect me. So I was really, really happy about that. I passed everything. Only thing is, obviously, I came from an Indian background, so they needed to check for my sickle cell, see if I had the sickle cell blood trait. So I had blood tests done, didn't have it.
Yeah,
so yeah, grateful. I attested, so essentially officially joined the army November that same year.
Okay. And is there like a ceremony, like an induction ceremony or something?
Yeah, so you just have to read a little speech whilst
Oh,
the
okay.
officers in the room.
Oh, nice.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was really nice.
A question with when you join the army, right? You pledge your oath of allegiance.
That's it.
Okay. Now, yesterday I was at, as I was telling you earlier, I've had a little baby and he fell asleep last night about 7, 8 o'clock, and I was like, perfect. I actually have a couple of hours to myself to do something. I went and saw my little brother, and he's 26, 27, so a lot closer to your age than I am, right? And he was like, so what are you doing tomorrow? And I explained, I've got a podcast with a Sikh soldier from the British Army, and we were talking about it. And I was like, what would you ask him? And he turned around and goes, well, when you do the oath of allegiance, how does that fit within being a Sikh, right? Now, I think it's a really interesting question because, and I've asked a number of people who we've had on the podcast before, none of them, I have to admit, actually are part of the army. They were all historians, and they've all got really different answers. So some people are like, well, actually, I'm not really pledging oath, like I'm pledging an oath of allegiance to the king and country, but that's not dysfunctional with my Sikhi, right? And there's certain Rathamadi out there which you can read, pre-colonial ones, that talk about you need to respect the country that you reside in, and you should kind of do what you can in order to look after that country, right? So there are ways of looking at it. Other people are like, no way. Like, how can you pledge allegiance to a king and then also have another king, right?
Yeah.
What, like, and there's no right or wrong answer, and I don't mean to put you on the spot if I have, but what's your personal kind of idea of that, or what do you think? And I assume there is no issue with it, obviously, because there are plenty of Sikhs in the army.
Definitely. That's a tricky question. It's
an interesting question, I admit. Yeah.
Personally, no issue with it. I'm proud. Obviously I'm representing my religion, my core, and obviously I'm fighting for my country as well. So that's the main principle, to be honest. Yeah, that's it, to be honest.
Fair enough.
Proud for where I am. Obviously the army or the Ministry of Defence will, it's inclusive, and diverse. So I am allowed to keep my my 5Ks with me. So obviously I've got my dastard. So obviously in the army you'd wear a beret, but for us we'd wear a dastard, obviously.
How does that work then like, as in, I understand as a Singh we kind of have I don't know quite what the word is, but we're almost blasé in that, like, we're more than happy to go to battle wearing a bag, right? Or drive a motorbike with other start on. Like, we're not really it's not that we're not concerned about safety, but we have a confidence in our dastard to look after us, if you get what I mean.
Yeah.
How does it work practically on the battlefield? Because if I got shot in the head and I was wearing a helmet, I'd survive a little bit better, right? So is there, like, I know this is a quite random question, but, like, do you get, like, special bug material that is...
So the Sikh military dress guide, or Sikh army dress guide, you could say. It's just a guide for how a Sikh should dress while serving in the army. I'm not sure how it is for the Navy or the RAF, but for the army, I know that obviously when you're out in the field, when you're in exercise operations, or when you're on tour, you obviously wear an MTP patka, which is essentially the camouflage. MTP standing for multi-terrain pattern. So that's what the camouflage stands for. This sort of acronym, the name for the pattern. So MTP sort of patka. It's like a little bandana. And then a helmet on top.
Okay.
Obviously you don't want to get a shot, and obviously warfare's gotten so advanced that it's kind of necessary to wear a helmet. It's very, very, it's needed. Helmets are needed. Safety as well. You're keeping your gear as well. You're covering your hair, and you got your helmet as we So
practicalities.
Exactly. It's practical.
Insane.
So
Okay. Sorry about those tangents. It's just as we're talking, I'm like, well, what about this and what about that? So once you've attested, then what happens? So once you've joined, like, what's the process from that point onwards?
So I did miss a few things out. So before attesting, you have to do the selection.
Yeah.
So essentially, you got your bleep test, and depending on what regiment or what, obviously, wherever you want to go
Yeah.
into, like infantry or signals, I think, can't remember off the top of my head, but mine was like level 8 in the bleep test. So obviously towards the higher
Oh, I
bit.
see. So
Yeah,
depending on where
so
you are, you actually need to be at a different
yeah,
level of
yeah.
fitness.
So
Oh,
obviously,
wow.
if you're like a RLC chef, you're going to be a bit
Be
lower
lower
because you'll be
down.
obviously you're going to be a cook or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
You're not running around.
yeah, you're going to be
whatever.
running
Yeah,
around.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
obviously it's a self-explanatory. So obviously, if you're going infantry, you need it high.
Fine.
You're going to be running around.
Yeah,
and
yeah. You're
doing
actually on the
all-
front line almost, isn't it? Yeah,
exactly. So it's different wherever you go. You also got to do the mid-thigh pull. So it's like you're on a weighing, like a scale, and there's a bar that's set to your thighs, like
Okay.
your thigh level. And then you hold the bar and you have to try pull against yourself, like pull the bar up and then like push down on on both your feet on the scale, and then it will measure like your
The
force,
pressure that
essentially
you
the
can
pressure,
apply. Yeah,
like
yeah.
how much you can pull. Then you got the medicine ball throw. So essentially back up against the wall, you know, your legs out, and you have the ball to your chest, and you have to throw it as far as you can. For signals,
Say if you failed any of those tests, like say
yeah,
if I threw it and it just literally fell in front of me, like as in would that affect my chance of getting in?
it can, yes.
Oh wow, okay.
It can. If you don't meet the requirement,
Then
they might say, they might say, this might suit you better,
oh fine, so they recommend somewhere
yeah,
else. Yeah, yeah.
or you have to keep going. You have to keep trying until you get it.
Fine, fine.
Which I have seen that you got different attempts.
Oh wow. So
Yeah.
people will come back like year on year to try and get in almost.
No. Well, yes, yes. If they do fail,
Oh, I
like
see.
so during that medicine ball throw, if you do fail like first time, you can on the same day you can do it a few more times. But if you
Okay.
obviously, I'm not sure how the recruitment process
Yeah,
goes,
yeah,
but
yeah.
obviously, if you do fail like an
Multiple
area
times.
in the recruitment process, you can come back again. So yeah,
Fair.
definitely, yeah.
Fair. Mad. You know when you join the army then? Like as in so most people at sixth form are kind of thinking of university, the prospect of like graduating, getting a job, making some money and like all of that, right? And a lot of the decision making process is kind of figuring out what's the degree that's going to give me the best chance of earning like the best pay, right? And especially coming from an Indian, Punjabi, Sikh background, whatever label you want to use. Lawyers, doctors, engineers, those type of jobs are where we're traditionally pushed into.
Yeah.
So when you're joining the army, what is like your game plan? Are you like, as in when you join the army, is it kind of like, I'm just interested and I want to see what's happening rather than it being a career, if that makes sense?
For me, it's a career, like,
Okay.
because there's so many like good things about the armies,
Yeah.
like the benefits, pay, the qualification skills, the courses you can go on. You can go parachuting. Like there's a saying in the army. Civvies pay hundreds for just to do all these absurd things. But you actually sometimes you get paid for doing sport or going on adventurous training. So
Yeah.
it's really cool because why pay to do
Yeah. Yeah.
skiing
Yeah.
when you can get
I
paid
can
to
get
do
paid to do it. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. And even that you can join different teams, different sports teams. I'm part of my regiment's football team.
Nice.
I'm now starting up a defensive network football team as
Sick,
well.
sick,
So
sick.
obviously, in primary and secondary and sixth form, I was always playing football, always
Yeah.
running
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
So
Oh, I miss playing football with like,
yeah,
yeah, especially
exactly.
university is so good,
It's
man.
it's it's so fun, and
Yeah.
now starting that up as well. Um, more engagement with the community as well. So
Yes.
I'm hopefully last year we took part in the Sikh games.
Yeah.
So we had a defensive network cricket team.
Oh, sick.
So we've got a cricket team now, and hopefully soon football team.
By the way.
So my aim this year is to go to obviously the Sikh games. It's hosted at my university as well.
Oh,
Brilliant
nice.
University.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
cool this year.
Sick.
So my aim, take DSN Defensive Networks football team there and compete and
That'd be bad
hopefully
boy. Yeah, yeah,
get
that'd
it.
be good fun.
Get the win. yeah, really good.
We've spoken how you have joined the army and the process that's involved with that. And earlier you were telling me, and in the introduction as well, obviously, we spoke about how you're doing a computer science degree at Brunel. For those listening, how do they both kind of work side by side? So, like, as in, what is your, I guess, your, like, roughly routine? Are you full-time university and then you do army training on, like, weekends? Or how does that kind of work out?
So yeah, full-time university student. So go to uni Monday to Friday. Obviously some days I might get the odd day off or whatever, but as a reservist, so part-time, drill nights. So every Tuesday nights, there's a thing called a drill night where you just go in, you give 2 hours, and just obviously do army stuff.
Yeah.
You know, be it fixing radios, doing checks on the radios.
And when we're talking about radios, like, are we talking like old school, like
Yeah.
FM, AM radio?
Yeah, basically. You got your Pressel, you're speaking, you got your different frequency ranges, VHF, HF.
Right, okay.
So yeah, it's a very, very techie. The technology, there's so many buttons when you get in the back of the vehicle with all these radios, you're like thinking, whoa, there's a spaceship. But obviously, once you learn everything, it's a bit easier. It does make things a lot more easier.
And I can imagine there's a lot of like top secret technology that's included in this stuff.
So
that,
obviously,
yeah,
it's really, really
cutting edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
You guys must see stuff before anyone else does, right? Like some of the technology.
Well, because we're reservists, we're part-time, full-time. So the regulars, they get more. They get exposure to it.
Yeah. More like touch time almost.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So, I know that when I was using the radios, I was finding it a bit difficult because I don't get enough time.
Yeah, like practice.
So practice going in Tuesdays, but there are weekend courses. So every year there's a requirement to achieve the like a certificate of efficiency.
I see, efficiency. Yeah.
So like ensuring that the soldier is up to standard, operationally effective, they're deployable essentially. So you have to tick off these check boxes, you could say. Different courses. So that'll be your shooting, your obviously how will you do your comms, communications, with the radios. So it's just all these courses,
proficiency in all these different bits.
Exactly. So sports as well. It's PT. I think SCR as well. So soldier conditioning review. I think they renamed it to something else now, but essentially happens every 6 months. And essentially you need to ensure that your 2K run is within the time of the signals, time limit, you could say. So, just making sure that your fitness is still up to date.
And are there like weight checks and stuff as well?
Yes. Weight checks, height checks. I remember doing pull-ups as well. I'm decent.
Oh God, I hate pull-ups, man. I hate pull-ups. As even hearing that.
I can do, my best is 20 straight.
I could do about 4 or 5 and then I'll start crying. I'm like, it's horrible.
But it's pretty fun.
First. Sounds like a hell of a lot.
It's a lot. It is a lot. But obviously, those are weekend courses. You
get trained and like it's not like you get thrown in the deep end. It's like swimming it. It's like we'll work you towards it.
And you've got your lance corporals, your corporals, and your sergeants that are all like behind you, teaching you as well,
and have the experience.
Exactly, they've got the experience. Even if you just like watch and just shadow everything that they're doing. Essentially, it gives you that hands-on as well as like seeing the equipment, how it works, how it functions. So it does help out quite a bit. And
they must have a lot of stories as well. Like they've experienced all sorts.
Exactly. Right? Yes. A lot of stories. So really good.
So earlier on, you were talking about kind of how history has played quite an instrumental part in you wanting to join the army and your inspirations for that. Like, what are some of those standout stories? Like, what are some of, like, earlier on you spoke about Hari Singh Nalwar. What, like, who are those, like, who are some of these characters and what are some of these events that you've been like, you know what, it's because of X, Y, and Z that's kind of inspired me in this direction?
I mean, obviously their story. You know, they gave us tomorrow. They fought for Sikhi, and so that's right. They fought for Sikhi, and so them obviously they gave their lives for our tomorrow. So it's essentially that was inspiring. That was inspiring. Like, you know, they were, you know, even the Singhs that were fighting at the bottom of God, they held, you know, they held their exactly, you know, they fought, you know, they didn't stand, they went, you know, show their back, they didn't run
No,
away,
no.
they stood their
To the
ground,
end,
and you
yeah.
know that's what I kind of resonate with, and yeah, it's just obviously going back to, you know, the army, the Castle Army. Yeah, you know, I was really really inspired by it.
What has it been like for you as a Sikh, a visibly Sikh soldier? Like, you're not just Sikh by name, you're Sikh by identity. You've got case, you've got your star, you carry yourself with a lot of confidence. How has it been for you as a Sikh in the army amongst your peers, but also just general kind of when you're walking along the street? I mean, do people... So I remember one time I had a friend who lived in Paris when I was at university, and we were walking down some random street one day, and some paint seller on the side of the road was like, in broken English French, was like, Sikh, Sikh. And I was like, what's going on? I was like, yeah. And he was like, you're... In his broken French, luckily the friend I was with knew French fluently. In his broken English/French, he was like, oh yeah, your ancestors fought and died on, like, on French soil along with my ancestors. Like, we like... And just giving me loads of respect. Just because I'm a Sikh.
No, we're saying, yeah,
So similarly with yourself, what have those experiences been like? Like the negative and the positive, and is it like I'm assuming it's getting better, and perhaps you've never experienced it, which would be incredible.
yeah, no, literally never experienced it. So you know,
Nice.
it's we're being recognized. You know,
Yeah.
so yeah, we're up there. We get a lot of respect. People know who the Sikhs are. You know, we were warriors. We fought in the world wars. Yeah, we do get a lot of respect as well. I know that even my instructors, you know, they're like, "You're Sikh, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." You know, they just talk to me, and they're just so fascinated about history
Yes.
as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
And they say, you know, like, we know the stories and stuff. You know, your ancestors, you know, fought for our tomorrow. So you know, grateful, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
honored as well. And obviously is our identity. So you can obviously see that we are Sikhs. Yeah, I've not experienced any racism at all, or
That's
any
amazing.
discrimination. And obviously the army's strict. You know, if you do, you know, if anything ever happens, you know, like that to you, you know, people get kicked out.
Obviously,
Essentially,
do they take it really
yeah, they
seriously?
take
Oh,
it
amazing.
seriously. It's
Okay.
not tolerated in
At
the
all.
army. It's not
Amazing.
tolerated. No,
Amazing.
no. So really good.
No,
Yeah.
that's good to hear. As I said, I have no idea. So this is like
Yeah,
learning something so
exactly.
new.
I've had such a positive, you know, atmosphere being, you know, in my unit, you know, even working around. It's just fun. I just love the army. You know, I just love it.
No, I'm glad.
So good.
Now, as I was saying earlier, I came across you through your Instagram account at a Sikh soldier. And you share your journey as a Sikh in the military. My question with that is, what is kind of your intended hope with your account? Like, what impact do you hope to have with this platform? Obviously, I'm really glad that you are doing that, because I saw it, and hence why we're sat here having this podcast, right? But like, is the objective to try and just kind of give an insight into what it is like to be a Sikh soldier in the British Army?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's one of the main reasons. Also to reach out to our base, especially the younger. So I like to tailor my content to sort of the younger generation.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
obviously our, you know, of Punjab, of the Sikhs, you know, to show them that this is what the army is about. This is what we're about. There are Sikhs here in the army.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you're scared of joining the army, you know, don't be, because we're here. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. And we can help, and
we can
whatever
help.
questions you've
We're
got.
all here. You know, I was very reluctant to join the army because obviously, you know, I didn't think that there were any Sikhs. You know,
Yeah,
I did hear stories that there were Sikhs that fought in the world wars, but where are they now? You know,
well, yeah, yeah.
exactly. So
Where's the present, like, kind of, where are the Sikhs right now,
yeah,
rather than just our history? Yeah.
exactly. So until I search up Sikhs in the British Army, and I see, you know, the people that I know now serving today in the British Army. I see their pictures. You know, like,
Yeah.
let's say it's 8 years ago, so it's really good. It's really good. The fact that we have that involvement. So yeah,
No,
it's really
amazing.
good. We just want to show people joining the army. It's a good direction. You did. There's so many benefits. You disciplined as well, respect, and being a Sikh as well. It's really good. Really good.
So most of like the public's idea of the army would be like it's strict, it's very regimented, you got to do a lot. Like what's like a typical day? Like I know you're a reservist, but let's say you are like I don't know quite what the wording is, but like you've been called for training or whatever, right? Like what is a typical day for you in that respect?
Was that for a Tuesday night, or I'll give you Tuesday night. So
Give me all, man. Yeah,
so
yeah.
Tuesday nights, it would be the kit prep for an exercise, a weekend exercise or a 2 week exercise. It would be obviously first half would be just lessons or theory, or just sorting out the radios, ensuring that it hasn't been tampered with, making sure the system works, or just doing equipment checks, ensuring that everything's there. And the second part would usually be PT, or vice versa, swap them around, do PT first, um, then obviously theory and practical, whatever.
You know, you were saying about like checking your radio's not been tampered with or whatever. And again, I don't know how much or how you can like I don't know how much you can answer if that makes sense. Like, you're obviously checking for like physical tampering, but equally, surely these days there's all sorts of ability to kind of like hack it remotely or whatever.
Yeah, but there are obviously systems in place to prevent that from happening.
Fair.
So yeah.
Yeah. And is there a lot of redundancies in your equipment? So if X fails, there's something to like almost come back, like almost not replace it, but there's almost like something to help.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, but it's obviously because the system it is old, but it's very good. Old,
Is it old in terms of it's old, and as a
age.
result of it being old, it isn't connected to a lot of systems, if that makes sense? So I can't remember what the term is, but in like cybersecurity, they call it almost safe by being so old. It's not quite the word, but it's almost because it's so outdated, it can't connect, for argument's sake, to the internet. And as a result, you can't hack it in a particular way.
Yeah, basically,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's old.
Old and like they've not updated
They
it.
haven't even updated. Yeah, so because it's such a good, robust piece of kit, it doesn't need to be replaced like
Flipping
in the
on. Fair play.
next like 10, 20 years. I can't remember when it was, obviously put into place, but it's old.
Flipping on,
It's
mad.
old. You can tell like pre-2000s.
Oh, mad. Okay.
It's proper old, old. Really, really solid piece of kit. So
That's true.
yeah.
So yeah, sorry, you were saying about your typical Tuesday. So after the
Yes.
PT stuff,
So yeah, PT stuff. Then obviously you're there for two hours.
Yeah.
Essentially. So it's like, let's say 7:30 to 9:30 or 7:45 to 9:45 or whatever, depending on your squadron.
and you're part of the army, you emphasize.
Yeah. So it's funny because with the timings, you have to be, if you're given a timing, you have to be 5 minutes. You have to always be 5 minutes like before the time. Let's say 0700, you have to be there 06:55. So
And that must be quite difficult as an Indian, isn't it? Because we're always different.
we're always late. It was very difficult. I had to get into the system. It was good. It was good. Obviously, basic training. They're going to be tough on you just to ensure that you get skills. They want you robust. They want you solid. It's very good character development as well. And I've definitely seen that over the years. I used to be, obviously I did like joining the army, but like I was so like so hesitant at first. But obviously it was new. It was a new environment. But now I'm all over it. I'm like, throw me in
It's in your
first.
comfort zone, isn't it?
Exactly, it is my comfort zone. I just love doing it. So yeah. So what else? So yeah, so that's usual Tuesdays. Obviously, sometimes you might have the odd recruit or someone coming in. You just essentially help them out and stuff, mentoring essentially, or if there's any paperwork or just stuff you need to get done by your superiors, just get it done. Or even like online learning. So just courses online.
So it's constantly evolving. Like you're constantly almost upskilling or developing. Like,
It's always something to do.
You're never kind of static in the army. Then you're never like, oh, you're a signalman. That's it. Like you learn your stuff. You stay there. Carry on. It's
So obviously
always.
you got ranks as well. So obviously Lance
Yeah, yeah.
Corporal. So once you obviously done your stuff, my next rank would be Lance Corporal. So the one chevron.
And how do those promotions, like, what do you have to do to like keep going up, if that makes sense?
So I'm not fully aware of that.
But like with yourself, so when you get your next, like, and you're saying you're gonna get the first chevron, like, is that just because of time, or is that because you've done?
So yeah, time is a factor.
Fine.
Time is a factor. I know sometimes it could take up to 4 years, just to obviously get to Lance Corporal. Yeah, it's just time is a factor. And so obviously how you perform as well. If you get, it just all depends on you as a person as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then obviously exercises. So I'm just trying to remember. Trying to remember, sorry, what exercises we do. So shooting, you'll go to on the Friday evening after work, because a lot of people in the regiment are all working people. So they work 9 to 5s.
Yeah.
Obviously, the only time we get off is weekends.
Yeah.
Obviously, for myself as well, it literally helps. It links into university. Obviously, lectures finish around 5, 6-ish. Go straight to the squadron, get changed, load up kit onto the minibus and onto the Land Rover, and go to wherever we need to go in the evening.
Yeah.
So, let's say Salisbury Plains or wherever. Yeah. So we go there. Obviously, we have accommodation, or if we're sleeping out in the field, we just get it set up. And then next day, that's when the training starts.
Oh, yeah.
As early as, like, let's say 6, we get up, go for breakfast, and then start our training, start our day. So for shooting, we'll just go to the ranges.
Sick.
We'll obviously go to the
And
ranges.
what guns will you be using?
SA-80.
Okay. And is that like a pistol?
No, it's a rifle.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah, it's the standard British rifle.
Wow. And again, this is just my either lack of understanding or my curiosity. I'm not quite sure which, but like my idea of a modern warfare is almost like they just send a drone to blow people up. So I know using a gun is never redundant, but is it the most effective? Isn't the right word, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, isn't that like an old tactic for the battlefield almost? Like, or are there still kind of like traditional elements of that still within?
It's warfare. Still within warfare, and it just depends on the environment where you are. Obviously, if you're gonna be in a built-up area, like let's say, I don't know, central London, there's obviously
like a city
everywhere.
or something.
It's obviously, I don't know, I would assume it's difficult to maneuver a drone. So obviously, rifles would obviously be the next option. But obviously, if you're out in the field, obviously it's just flat. Obviously,
different
drones. Exactly, you have all this space as well. So I can imagine that rifles would still be used. Yeah.
Do you think there'd ever be a point where warfare is so modern, almost some of these traditional elements disappear? Like, as in, like, with the way technology is going, do you think that would ever, like, as in, if it does happen, it would happen way outside of our lifetime, but do you think it will ever progress to that, or do you think there's always like there'll always be, as you were saying, there's almost always an environment where technology just isn't the best use? So as you were saying, in like a built-up area, if you sent a drone after someone, well, if I keep running through like a massive high-rise building, how are you going to find me in it? So you would have to send people in to try and get me. Unless you've got, like, I don't know, that AI dog Google's made that can like do all sorts of. So this is what I mean. It's just interesting to see how technology, in some ways, is almost gonna kind of like leap over.
Technology is a big factor, and drones are definitely used. Even those like cyber dogs.
Because similarly, they said with nuclear weapons, like, that would be it. That'd be the end of all warfare. We won't see kind of traditional warfare post nuclear weapons, and that's obviously a whole crock of nothing. Because look at the last look at history since the end of the Second World War. There's been wars all over the world.
Of course.
No, fair. So I guess what you're saying is there will almost have to always be a human element involved.
Yeah,
in this type of
it's not
thing.
going to be all machines.
Yeah.
I'll be Terminator then.
Yeah. And surely having more machines creates more risks of like tampering, hacking, that type of stuff.
Yeah. There's always like a mechanical sort of computer element as well. So cyber is going to be a big thing. Yeah, pretty much it. If obviously there is going to be human error, but machines obviously do help.
Yeah.
But I think the army, they're there. They'll know everything. AI is obviously becoming big. I'm not sure if they're using that in the army, but obviously all this technology, it will be adopted.
But it'll almost be a tool that a human is using, though.
Yeah. That's what it is currently. That's what it is currently.
Rather than taking over almost.
Yeah. So
Right. Okay, fair. My next question, I'm gonna have to reword because it actually asks, what challenges have you faced integrating your Sikh identity with military service, and how have you overcome them? Which I think is very much similar to the racism question I asked you a minute ago. The way I want to reword this is actually, how has Sikh practice or Sikh identity been supported by the army? So obviously you spoke about how that patka made out of the special material. I think it was either yourself on a podcast clip I saw, or whether the Sikh Defense Network had posted about a Gutka that were made out of like tear-proof paper or something. So talk to me about some of those things. So like the Gutka, what else obviously start with that, but what else has been done or is being done in order to support Sikhs in the armed forces?
Obviously, Gutka Sahib, that's been released, and essentially, obviously, traditionally, soldiers would get given a Bible. And obviously, for a Sikh, why are you going to get a Bible? I mean, doesn't,
there's no resignation.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like being given.
Yeah. So it's like, hold on, we need a Gutka Sahib, and so we started that up. And obviously he's made out of tear-proof paper, waterproof. So obviously you'll have your nickname with you.
That's insane.
Really good. Yeah. Whenever you deploy everywhere.
And you get given that. You don't have to pay for it. You don't you get given it.
Yeah, cool. You get given it. So
I imagine that costs a hell of a lot.
Especially
with that special paper.
Yeah.
That's really good. And it's your nickname Gutka. So it's like sponge money.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, really good.
That's right. And was that developed by the army or by Defense Sikh Network? And then
Defensive Network. Offensive Network, yeah.
And then the army then. So are they the ones who hand it out, or is the army go on to?
So we're still looking. When I was given it, it was by Defensive Network, because obviously, one of the guys in my squadron was obviously one of the main guys that worked Defensive Network. So obviously he just handed it to me. But I feel like in the future, it will be given. It will be given out. Yeah. I think. Yeah, I think it already is. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But obviously, that's how I got it. Yeah, essentially. It was started by a major. I don't want to mention names or anything or give identity away, but obviously it was started by a major, because obviously he got given
the Bible.
Yeah. So
and he was Singh.
Yeah, Singh. Yeah. So,
and when you get given this Bible, is the idea that you carry that around, like as in not the Sikh soldiers, obviously, but the other soldiers that given it, do they carry this Bible around, or is it just kind of
I think so. Yeah. I'm not too sure.
Fair. And with this Gutka, then you can take it in the field. There's no issue. You can't tear it. Can't get it wet.
Exactly. So yeah, really good.
I feel like once the good dollar hear about this, man, you're gonna have a lot of orders.
Join the army. Join the army, guys.
Is there anything else then that either the Defense Sikh Network or the army or whoever else is kind of doing to help support Sikhs or?
So we're trying our best, obviously, to support Sikhs. Look at different things. How can we make the next thing better? If someone's experiencing this, or if this is a problem, how can we fix it? So Takara, it's obviously gonna be shiny. So when you're out in the field and there's an enemy, they can see the shine of of the kara.
That's a
So
really interesting point. I
exactly.
wouldn't even have
So
thought of that. Yeah.
so they can see the shine, obviously the glare from the sun, they can see it. So we're trying to obviously, it's been mentioned, a sort of the military sort of kara. Obviously there's no shine to it. You still have your 5Ks with you.
Yeah.
You still go to kara with you. Yeah, so that's something that's been spoken
I know.
about.
Then the Hung Sings listening to this are laughing because they're like, "Why don't you just tighten to your gears, innit?" Like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of
no,
people do.
I get that. Yeah, no.
Oh wow! And so, what would that kara be made from? Like a
I
oh,
wouldn't
fine. So
know.
it's still like a
Yeah,
development
yeah,
idea.
still, it's
Yeah.
just obviously that's just an idea.
That's quite
But
incredible. I wouldn't even thought like, as in, I wouldn't like. It makes sense, but I would never have thought like my kara would give me
exactly,
away,
yeah,
but it would.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's these little things they can just spot you.
That's mad.
If you're in a forest, obviously you got your camouflage, and obviously your face, your cam cream, your camouflage cream on, and you're just there doing just staying there on stag, but the enemy is approaching you and they're just trying to see in the wood line,
And then the
but
light
then the
reflects off
light
your kara.
reflects,
You're gone.
you're gone. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just like those points.
That's
You
crazy.
just got to think about it. Yeah,
And you'd be
personally.
so good. You'd be like, oh,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you'd be like, oh man, I'm so
yeah,
close.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's just those little things. I remember when I was basic training. Um, Obviously the reserve course is compact, so
Yeah.
they try to fit everything that is done as a regular in the 2 weeks.
Oh wow, that's
So
must be a lot.
yeah. So you have to whiz through everything quickly, and so for as a Sikh, I did find that a bit of a struggle because doing my dastar, it did take a bit of time. It takes 5-10 minutes.
Easy, man.
And
Yeah.
even when you have a bad bug day,
Yeah,
bad
yeah, yeah.
dastar day, it
Oh,
takes a
mate,
bit longer as
sometimes you
well.
gotta do it 2-3 times to get it right, innit, man?
Exactly.
And then you
So
get it perfectly, like, nah, it's too tight, my head hurts, so I gotta do it again, innit?
so it's obviously it's your pride as well. So you do want to
Yes,
take
yes,
enough
yes,
time as well,
yeah.
make it nice, crisp as well, clean.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, identity. So when I was obviously basic training, I did PT in the morning, but then I was told, so right after we had the kit inspection.
Yeah.
And so obviously at the time I was wearing a patka
Yeah.
for PT, because that's how obviously you wear patka for PT, and then bug for your military dress. So obviously finished the PT session, and obviously we were told, okay, guys, go straight to the showers and come right out in your kit. I was like, wait, for the uniform inspection? I was like, wait, hold on, I've only got 5 minutes. They gave us only 5 minutes to shower, get changed into kit, but I needed like another five
Yeah,
minutes
just
to
do
do
your
my
bug,
bug.
innit? Yeah.
So obviously I showered, and obviously I was sweaty. You just want to get, you just want to,
Wait, clean.
yeah, clean. Put your uniform on, and then actually I was in my podcast, so they were like, hold on, where's your start, or where's your cap badge? Because the cap badge is what I'm wearing right now.
Oh,
So
okay.
where's your cap badge?
Okay.
I was like, well, I didn't actually have time, and
To
obviously
do that.
they scolded me. But obviously it was an issue I addressed. But obviously, like I was like, hold on, like you kind of.
You kind of put
Right,
me in a bit
tell
of a predicament.
I don't know what to say
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
awkward. Obviously
Yeah.
when
And
religion's
it's
a bit
also
involved.
it's kind of an issue that's only personal to you because no one
Exactly.
else is
No
having
one
to
else.
bug,
Yeah,
innit?
yeah. So
So so now
it's not obviously it wasn't big, but like
no, no,
obviously,
no.
It's just like I'm a bit awkward. Like, what do I do
Yeah.
here?
And actually I wanna do what you're asking, but I
Yeah,
kind of have a like a
don't have
requirement I
that.
need to resolve. So
Exactly.
do they give you a little bit more time or like have you managed to master it?
Yeah, so there have been times where I've asked, hold on, like if I'm wearing my talon right now and we're about to do obviously like some military exercise, like training, like getting on, crawling around or whatever. I'm like, hold on, corporal, can I like just tie my patka or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
bandana? And they're like, give me 5 minutes, and they do wait for me,
Fair.
so grateful that
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
happens,
Very accommodating.
exactly, so it is good,
No,
it's very good.
amazing. Obviously, you sit in a very interesting Venn diagram of being part of the army and also being a Sikh, right? How has your involvement in both the Sikh community and the military influenced perceptions on both sides, and what dialogues have emerged from this intersection? And the reason I ask this question is because when the Defense Super Network first put out that they were doing a Hola Mohalla with some of the Nahangs from the UK, Twitter was an absolute minefield of all sorts of different comments from like positive, negative, in between, this, that, whatever, what else. What has it been like for you? Because surely you must have had, well, actually, I don't know. I'm assuming you must have had some interesting interactions with people who are on all sorts of different opinions or seats, being part of the army and the army itself and everything else that goes with that. So what has it been like? What has your experience been like, I guess, within the Sikh community as being part of the British Army, but then also being part of the British Army as a member of the Sikh community?
We've been trained to like just, they're gonna say things. People are gonna say stuff, like very controversial stuff.
Yeah.
So we just try our best. We will not try our best. We will like just not touch that topic at all. So we take on positive feedback. And obviously we're trying to make it better and obviously inclusive and diverse. But yeah, just literally just ignore those sort of controversial topics and conversations in whatever points and just keep moving, because obviously we're doing it for good reasons. We're doing it for the right reasons, obviously engage with the community, Sikh community, Holla Mohallas, and Visakhi as well. It's all good. It's all amazing. We're doing it for the right reasons, not for the wrong reasons, So it's why is this an issue? It's all engagement. It's all engagement now. So yeah, grateful. Just don't listen to it. You're doing the right thing.
Have you had any interesting kind of positive dialogues with anyone on any kind of spectrum? Has there been anything where you've been like, you know what, someone came in on a bit of a hot one, but actually by the end of the conversation, I don't know, like they were like, yeah, I get where you're coming from, or vice versa?
Would rather like not say that.
Fair.
It does happen. It does happen.
Yeah.
And people's views do change as well.
Yeah,
by a simple conversation.
But I guess that's your role though, isn't it? Which is like almost to help remove those assumptions or doubts or whatever, like the fear or whatever it is, like in particular.
Then people might see the army as bad or like because the army is violent all across the world. But we're actually defenders. And even that whole idea of defending, it resonates with Sikhi as well.
Yeah.
Why do we carry a Qur'an with us as well? So yeah, it's essentially that. So yeah, just block out the haters.
No, fair. Yeah. It doesn't sound much different to just even living a normal kind of like job, innit? Right. Looking forward then, how do you envision your career unfolding, and what goals do you have within the armed forces? Like, is your idea like, I don't know, you want to get to a certain rank, or you want to, I don't know, experience, like, I don't know, maybe you want to experience frontline combat or something, like, as in, I don't know what your goals or objectives are. So what is, like, as in, I guess let's rephrase this, if you could click your fingers right now and you'd move 5 years ahead, what would you want to have achieved in those 5 years in relation to the British Army and your career, I guess, to a degree?
I want to have shiny medals.
Nice.
I want to have shiny medals. So,
and what would you need to do in order to accumulate those shiny medals?
So to accumulate the shiny medals, I'd go on operations and tours, essentially.
Okay, so that would be like not necessarily frontline combat, but going to do proper operations, like military work. It depends,
military work, or even just like going to just do. I don't know. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head, managing or like leadership or.
So army, I guess the assumption for a lot of the public would be that the army is always involved in fighting. But actually, you're saying the army is involved in all sorts of different.
Logistics side.
Yes.
We could do. You could go on operations, do logistics or something. So yeah, there's a lot that goes on. Also, I would like to have hopefully commissioned by then.
Which means.
So essentially, right now I'm a soldier.
Okay.
So my goal is to commission to become an officer. Essentially.
Okay. And is that the next like step up?
So there's two pathways to joining the British Army. You have the soldier route and you have the officer route.
Okay.
So officers are the leaders They lead. They guide the soldiers into the battlefield, or into
whatever operation
exercises.
it is. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So they're the leaders. You got a second lieutenant, captain, major, and all the way up.
Is major the highest?
No, there's loads more. There's
Oh
loads
wow.
more.
Okay, okay.
And then you got obviously signaler, or private. So signaler essentially means private. So there are different sort of private wordings, you could say. So you got sapper, which is for like Remy.
Yeah.
You've also got gunner, private. Different sort
Yeah,
of
yeah.
terminologies that essentially mean private. So
Okay.
essentially, my name would be private, and then Singh Hira.
Fine, I see.
And then you obviously got Lance Corporal, which is the next one. Obviously the chevron, 2 chevrons is corporal, and then you got 3 sergeant, and then staff sergeant or colour sergeant, and then it just keeps going up from there.
Mild. Okay.
Yeah, but obviously being an officer, there's obviously that leadership qualities there as well. You do get, being an NCO, a non-commissioned officer, like a corporal, sergeant, or a staff sergeant. Yes, you do have responsibilities, and yes, you do lead, but not as much as you would as an officer, because the officer takes control and takes command of everyone essentially. And they have more authority and more, you could say, power in a sense, but more authority. You could say,
Yeah.
more authority and control of the whole squadron or regiment or wherever they are, in terms of rank wise. So yeah.
Right. And then what about your degree? Say within 5 years' time, or your like computer science stuff, would you just want to focus mainly on the army and then kind of incorporate your degree into what you're
That
doing?
would be a good idea. That would be a good idea. So I would like to, yes, obviously become an officer, and join one of the cyber regiments. There is a cyber regiment, and obviously cyber is obviously a growing field. So I want to, with my degree, computer science degree, I have done a cyber module in my degree. So I want to essentially use that as well to aid me and go into that cyber regiment and do all these obviously cyber things, you could say. That's obviously one option. Or even being a parasignaler, so jumping out of a plane with a radio.
That's mad.
But yeah, I don't know if officers would be able to do that. But obviously, being an officer, paratrooper, yeah, it's crazy. It's a lot of terminology. Yeah, parasignals as an officer. Yeah,
I would be
if that's
screaming
possible.
the whole way down.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah. They'd hear me before they saw me. So yeah,
I want to do parachuting. It's just so cool. But yeah, but obviously cyber is what I'd want to do.
No, fair
Definitely.
enough. You were talking about the badges on the start, right? And you were talking about how you would like your goal is hopefully to progress within the army. Do those badges change then as you like become a sergeant or whatever? No.
So,
and what do they represent?
So this is this is what shows my regiment.
Okay.
So like Royal Signals, this is like the cap badge for Royal Signals. Cap badge meaning like the logo or
like the little thing
the
that's almost on the
sign.
hat.
Yeah. So obviously on the beret, that's essentially what you're in. Let's say Rams, Royal Army Medical Services. I can't remember. It's been renamed. It was REMC before. Now it's Rams. So I'm just trying to get used to that.
Yeah.
So you have a different cap badge with like a snake. Obviously the medical sort of.
Oh yeah.
With their sword, I think. So obviously that would be a cap badge as well. Obviously SES, using the dagger as well. So it's all depending on where you are in the regiment. Obviously, you can progress through your regiment or through your corps, or
But that wouldn't change the badges though.
If you're staying, sorry, if you go through the ranks, it stays.
Yes.
But you can change
like into a so you could go from being a signaler to like a medical person, and then your badges would change.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it can be quite techy.
Because you'd have to train again then, right?
Yes. Yes, you have to train again. And if you're high rank, like let's say sergeant, and you want to go into a different sort of
You got to start from the bottom.
essentially, obviously, you want to keep your rank going up. So you just need to obviously do your research, think what you want to do. Obviously, raw signals, it does link into computer science, and so obviously I felt it resonated with me.
Yeah. It
So
makes sense, the connection.
exactly. So I chose raw signals because obviously there are cyber opportunities, parachuting opportunities as well. I do want to jump out of a plane at some point.
I feel like someone has to make sure he jumps out of a.
So yeah, that's one. So yeah, literally just obviously chose computer science. Chose the raw signals as
Because
well,
of that, yeah.
because of that. But obviously there are other opportunities. Other regiments, other corps, like the intelligence corps. Obviously computer science somewhere would fit in there.
Yeah,
Or
definitely,
obviously
man.
intelligence as well, huh? So there's that one. SR, or Special Reconnaissance Regiment, I think it is. They're special forces, but they like handle like recon and stuff, reconnaissance. So yeah, obviously computer science would obviously play a part in there as well. So obviously you just got to do your research, think about
like what's your best fit? Like how can
exactly,
you fit
yeah.
what you
If
like
you've
into something
yeah,
as well?
exactly.
Yeah.
If you've done a doctor's or nursing degree or whatever, to do with medicine or biomed or whatever, your best chance would be
As a
R
nurse or something, yeah.
REM, RAMS. Yeah,
Yeah,
what I
the
said earlier,
medical,
the medical corps, or the services. Sorry. Yeah, so different ones.
What guidance would you offer to young individuals from diverse backgrounds considering a career in the military? You've kind of been talking about it as we've been just going through the podcast, but like, I don't know, what would like be your top 3 pointers to, I don't know, a young 18-year-old to or whatever age it is that like you joined, who had any kind of questions or doubts or whatever? Like, what would you say to help direct them?
First off, don't be afraid to even ask questions, because I was very hesitant to ask a question. You might think it's a stupid question, but when actually it wasn't, and someone else might have asked it as well. If you're sitting in the room and someone else might have answered it, or you might have had the same thought and you didn't ask it. Sorry. So there's that. What else? Just trying to think. Iron your kit. Make sure you iron your kit. Make sure you polish your boots.
Stay out of trouble, basically.
Stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
But they will always, obviously, during basic training, they're always gonna say something like, it's just character development.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, fitness. Make sure you're doing your runs. Make sure, like, let's say, for raw signals, I can't even remember now, but raw signals bleak test, let's say is level 8. Don't go for level 8. Keep going until you get to level 10.
Because you'll know you'll have it in the bank.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you don't want to aim for that target.
You don't want 8 to be your top
exactly
like ability. You want it to be kind of like slightly below.
Exactly. So because let's say you go for selection and you might have a better opportunity in front of you lined up, like it might be better than what you're actually looking for. So it's always doing excel is what I'm saying.
Be better than even the best, almost, like as in like even like make sure you can always accommodate what you're doing.
Push yourself, and keep your physical, your fitness up, essentially. Keep at it, keep up the runs. I remember doing a lot of runs beforehand as well. I mean, I don't, not to brag or anything.
You must be able to do like a 5K in like 20 minutes or something.
Yeah.
Fuck. I remember feeling really proud when I got below 30 minutes. I was like, yeah, mate, that's mad. That's mad. 20 minutes is crazy. What's your best time?
I've got my phone somewhere. I'll have to.
It must be like.
It's been really.
My last question is, reflecting on your journey this far, what experiences have been most transformative, and how have they shaped you as a person?
I've got a few. I'd say. So when I was on basic training, it's just rain everywhere, and obviously we had to live out in the field for like a week, 4 or 5 days. 3 nights, 4 nights.
And do you have to do things like make your own like shelter and stuff like that? Yeah.
So you have to make your shelter. Obviously, have a lean-to, like a basher sort of, like the tent material. And obviously the water slides down. Obviously the camouflage, sort of pattern on the basher, on the puncher, you could say. And then obviously tie it around the tree, and then make your shell scrape as well. Oh, sorry, make your shell scrape beforehand. You have to dig out a little sort of tiny ditch, and then
that is for?
just so when you're on stag, obviously you're not shown. You're try
almost in line with the terrain then.
Yeah,
if you're
yeah,
slowly
that's what I
lowering
mean.
down.
Yeah. So, you're just like little.
So it's not
little
like a
down.
mound of a person on top of the
That's what I
floor.
mean. Yeah. So,
Oh wow, okay.
that's one of the reasons as well. Obviously
And then do you have to be careful where you put what you've dug out? So if you made like a little mound next to you, it kind of give away that you're like somewhere nearby, right?
Yes.
So do you have to?
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
Or you can just build up the sides, essentially as well. People can obviously mistake it for like an anthill or something, or obviously just don't make it look obvious. Essentially, and obviously there's different positions. Obviously going around wherever you're set up camp or your harbor area, and yeah. So I just remember being there. It was just raining every day. I was just so like, it's just, this is the army. What am I doing here? Like, I wasn't depressed, but I was depressed.
You were contemplating all the choices you've made to come here. Yeah.
Like 2 years ago, I was literally, I was looking at my army application. I thought, yeah, it's gonna be good. It's fun. And then I'm like,
where's
what
the fun?
am I doing here?
Yeah.
But it's good. Like I said,
it's character building.
Development. You've been in, you have half your sleeping bag, soaked.
How does it work then in the field in terms of then like tying your bird guard, tying your bar, keeping your case? Does that get quite irritating, or like have you mastered kind of?
When you're out in the field, you wear a patka.
Okay.
So obviously your
It's a
helmet
bit easier, isn't it? Yeah.
And obviously you do have a mirror with you. Your cam cream will obviously have a little tiny mirror as well. So whenever you're applying your cam cream, you can see where you're applying the cam cream and how it covers and sort of disrupts your face.
Yes.
So essentially that's
what you use.
That's what I use. The mirror. Obviously, comb my hair, brush it out, and then obviously tie a patka, the MTP patka with tie it, and then obviously put the helmet on top. Continue with my day. So that's obviously in the field. It's just not practical, because when you wake up in the morning and you're on stag, essentially, like you could say stationary patrol, or like when you're on watch, and you're in the alert position and you're trying to look out and see if anyone's gonna like attack you or anything, and like you need to get the starter done at the same time. So it's just more practical to wear a patka.
Makes it easier for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's better.
No, fair.
So see, it was raining. I just after like the third day, I was like, yeah, it's just life now. You know what? Why not?
I'm used to it.
I'm used to it. I got what? I've got my ration pack with me. I've got my food as well. I've got my sweets. I'm just gonna.
I'm chilling.
That's it. This is life. Half my uniform's soaked, but it's okay. It's all right.
I'm glad that you said that about food, because I didn't think to ask you at all, and I'm glad you have, because I absolutely love food. So it's definitely on my street. But so the idea of ration packs that I have are, I remember my grandparents, they lived in America, and they would bring, one time they went to like the Kennedy Space Center and brought me back these like astronaut packs.
Okay.
And basically it's the food that astronauts take into space, right? And so you open it and it's all like either freeze dried, or you press something and it like kind of heats it up, and like all these like weird things, right? The only thing I can remember being relatively nice were like the raspberries, and they were like dried or something called together, right? And this is me as a kid, like just being a little fatty. What's it like being part of the army? Like, what are the ration packs? Do you get like a diverse range of food? Is it
Yes.
relatively tasty?
So yeah. So as previously mentioned, obviously the army is obviously definitely diverse and inclusive. So it does cater to a lot of dietary requirements as well. So you got kosher, halal,
Oh man,
non-halal, vegetarian, vegan, obviously. Yeah, just
they
obviously
accommodate for
different. Yeah,
everything
yeah,
then.
exactly.
Yeah.
So obviously when you look at the Sikh ration pack, you've obviously got the Hindu ration pack, the Sikh Hindu ration pack, sorry, which is obviously both for the Sikhs and Hindus. Obviously vegetarian food.
Oh, okay.
So I know that in one of the foods you'll obviously have vintage and aloo as well.
Oh, jokes. Okay.
Like it's basically like alus and like
Chole,
Cholle
like,
and stuff.
yeah.
So yeah, that's what it says on the packet. But obviously that's what we get
That's quality.
essentially. So yeah, it's decent.
And you
It's
can't
quite
get
nice.
non-halal meat, you said.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
cool.
The food's nice.
Yeah.
You got snacks. I like the orange chocolate biscuits.
That
mini
actually
cookies.
sounds quite good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got a cookies and cream flavor bar. That's what it says. It's literally like a an Oreo Rice Krispies bar, you could
Oh
say.
wow, that sounds
Yeah.
quite tasty. Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite nice. You know, you got your tea bags and stuff as well. Yeah, just make some tea, coffee. Do you have tea bags? I can't
So
even
there isn't
remember.
really
There is
much
coffee though.
that you're
Yeah.
like there's not much you're missing out on then.
No, and you can even when you go on these exercises, you can bring your own stuff as well. You know,
Oh,
I like my peri sauce and
yeah.
so
Yeah.
you know the little Nando's
Yeah.
little shishi, you know. So I have my friends
You just got it in
always
your pocket. It's like, wait,
I got yeah, literally in my day suck on my pack. You know, it's literally whatever I'm eating it with. You know, um,
just add a little bit of
yeah,
flavor in it.
yeah, exactly. You know, it's a little bit of flavor depending on what I eat. You know, sometimes I might have to get a different rush pack with like obviously the chole,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Can't
hold
really
on,
add
I
it to
can't
that.
really add it to that.
No.
You know, so it's like fine, fair enough.
I don't want to look that weird, innit?
exactly. You know,
Yeah.
so it's one of those things. But I love the food that we get. Obviously, it's Indian flavors, but
And it must be pretty decent. Then.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can also. I don't think salt's provided, but you can bring your own salt. I know that they do provide their own sauce, sambal or something.
Okay.
But obviously, I just like to bring my
You
own
don't
stuff.
do anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just bring your own stuff. Obviously, basic training, you can't do that, but obviously, when afterwards you can. Um, you can bring your own stuff. Obviously sweets as well. You know, morale can be a bit low. Obviously when you're out in the field,
I can
you know,
imagine. Yeah.
it's quite you know, bad conditions. You know, like
You're not at a
well,
5-star hotel, innit?
exactly. You know,
Yeah.
excuse me. And so yeah, it's just not nice. And so like you know, you're just looking back and oh, I got sweets. You know,
Yeah, it's a bit
no
of
big
a
deal.
pick me up
I'm
though.
not a kid. Exactly. You know,
And a little bit of sugar always helps,
yeah,
innit?
exactly. So
Yeah.
it does help. You know, you see sugar. Obviously, energy drinks aren't. They're not recommended. You know,
Yes,
maybe,
I can imagine.
even during basic training as well. That's like a no.
Good.
But
There's all sorts of research that like
yeah.
shows the
So literally,
crazy effects of
there's
energy drinks.
exactly there's different things. You know, even I might have not covered all of them, but there are different things that you can't do. You know, um, whilst like doing a basic training or even serving in operations as well. Yes, it's just a load of different things.
But that's more to kind of manage the risk to the person, though,
exactly.
isn't it?
Yeah, manage the risk to the person as well.
And keep them healthy or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. What else? Obviously, everyone else, or you know, the Gordia, they don't like the Bindi Janolu. They absolutely hate it.
I'm surprised because so many go to go out for a curry on a
Yeah,
Friday
I
night
know.
or whatever, innit?
I know.
That's quite shocking.
It's funny. It's actually funny, and
But I also guess when you're out, you kind of want a reminder of home.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I guess for
exactly.
us, that
Yeah.
is more home, whereas for them, that's more of like a takeaway, innit?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know, my colleagues in basic training, they're like, "Oh, guys, you ever had this before?" And they're like, "Ah, yeah, it's just so bad." I'm like, "Guys, you know I'm here." It's just so funny.
You're like,
but,
this is the tastiest thing I've ever
it
had.
is.
innit?
It's like, guys, like, what are you saying? Like, I'm right here, you know. It was so funny, but you know, the it Yeah, it was good. It was good.
What are some of the other like foods that you get? So you mentioned the chole and the aloo, but
Yeah.
like what are some of the other like random?
You got vegetarian sausages and beans.
Oh mad,
So
that
you do
sounds
get
interesting.
obviously English breakfast, your
Like an
English
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 breakfast,
breakfast,
yeah,
but vegetarian version, you could
yeah,
say.
yeah.
So you do get vegetarian sausages and beans. You get just trying to think. You do get rice. I'm just trying to think on
And then
top of my
how do
head.
you cook all of this?
So you'll get given standard British Army um during basic training, you'll get a like a little stove,
Okay,
and you put your fuel inside. It's dragon fuel. It's like a gel. You light it, and you'll have in your ration pack. You'll have waterproof matches as well. And you light your matches, and then essentially, light the fuel, and it starts burning, gives out a flame,
Mm.
and then you get water, fill up like a mess tin or just a little tin,
Yeah, yeah,
and place it on top of the that stove sort of little fireplace, you could say, and put your windbreak in, just obviously prevent the fire being blown out or
yeah, yeah,
whatever
yeah.
by the wind, and then place your little tin on top. And obviously the ration packs, they come in packets,
Okay.
so you obviously fold your
Or
packet
do you
in,
boil the packet
and you
then?
basically boil the water,
Oh,
and then that essentially cooks the food.
okay.
And obviously afterwards you'll have fresh, clean water that you can use in your jar or your
Yeah, yeah,
coffee.
because you just boiled that in it. Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so yeah, it's really
Oh,
good as
mad.
well. So I know that nowadays people, they don't like to use that because it can sometimes be kind of slow. So people just bring a jet boil, which is literally
No,
bring your
fine.
fuel, slap it at the bottom of this like mug, like
Like a thermos almost.
thermos mug, yeah, and then obviously light it, and then put your water in, close it, bam, 5 minutes, there you go. It doesn't
Chilling.
even, like, obviously when you've got this, obviously this stove place, little thingy, I can't even remember the name of it now, but when obviously that's boiling the water within the mess tin, that heat is also escaping as well, and even that water as well. And so it's just better and faster if you have like the
If
heat
you contain it.
directly, exactly, is contained,
Yeah.
and you've got the lid as well. There you go.
Yeah.
So
And less
case
issues
anything.
like the wind getting the fire or
Exactly,
whatever.
and sometimes people might kick, they might run over, and sometimes, whatever, they run over or whatever, it kind of gets into the water as well. I've seen that it happens. It's like, maybe I might not drink this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'll just
I'm
leave
alright in
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
I just open my mouth when it rains and
yeah.
like.
So
No, fair.
yeah.
Fair,
So you got
fair.
that.
Well, we've got about 5 minutes left. I've gone to the end of my questions. I just want to check. We've been talking for almost 2 hours. I just want to check, is there anything that you think is worth mentioning or anything that you think we should discuss before we wrap up? Because I always like to make sure we've covered everything.
Of course.
Yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned food because otherwise I wouldn't have asked you about that. And I think
No.
food is very
So
integral.
I just remember, obviously, I think it was last week, the Southampton Nuclear
Yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it was amazing. I love doing this stuff. You're engaging with the community as well, and obviously raising the profile of Sikhs in the army as
Yeah,
well.
also,
So that's good, very good engagement. But one thing that really, like, it did hit me as well was this little thing. He's a patka. He's wearing a little patka, and he's also wearing his white kurta as well. His mum and dad was there, and you know, you know, they were like, "Go take a picture." There was all these other kids like, "Let's take a picture with the army guys as well." And it was really nice, really sweet. And yeah, they're like, "Hira saying go over there." I was like, "Wait, hold on, did you say Hira saying?"
yeah, yeah.
I was like, "Yeah, that's my name as well." I've got my
Oh,
surname as
bless.
well. Yeah, so
That's
it was
amazing.
like, it was just such a wholesome
Yeah,
moment, a
yeah,
cute
yeah. Almost like
moment.
full circle, innit? Because
Yeah,
you're like, oh, I'm almost
exactly.
looking
It's
at a
like,
child version of
yeah, it's
me.
like, exactly.
Yeah,
So I look
yeah,
at
yeah,
him,
yeah.
it's like, wow, this, you might remember this,
Yeah, yeah,
growing
yeah,
up,
yeah, yeah. And
that
he might join the army too and then
exactly,
do the same
exactly,
thing, innit?
exactly.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I didn't have that exposure growing
Yes,
up. Obviously, I
yes.
didn't see no soldiers, see no Sikh soldiers as well. Only up until what, 17, 18, I then saw Sikh soldiers.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, mum and dad, mum was against the idea, but she didn't want me joining. But obviously, after she saw me joining, I'm wearing the uniform. I remember my smart uniform. She's just proud.
Yeah,
It's
you
just,
should have
it's
been
just proud.
beaming, innit? Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
It's not like you know, an army isn't all about violence. You know, we do so much other things
Yes.
as well.
Yeah.
It's not violence. You know, it's we're defenders at the end of the day. And so, yeah, obviously, he took this. You know, you saw this little thing here, saying, and you know, I high fived him. It was so nice. And I told him like, my name is, my
Yeah,
name
yeah,
is
we got the
Hira
same
as
name,
well. We
man,
got the
innit?
same name.
Yeah.
And then on the back, his name was Hira as well. It had it in Punjabi as well. It was just so sweet. It was so wholesome. I high fived him. Obviously, he was just so shy. I tried to take a picture with him, couldn't take a picture with him, but it
Oh.
was just so sweet, and he was just, it's just like I saw myself in him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just very
Oh,
cute.
that is
So
blessed.
yeah, I just think I'm grateful to have joined the army and obviously show kids and a lot of people what Sikhi is about, especially while serving.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's my main goal
No,
essentially.
no, thank you. I think that's a very nice, wholesome story to kind of wrap up with, because like anything I say is not gonna outdo that. That is that is so sweet, and I hope little man remembers that interaction.
Yeah.
Because who knows where it will lead him. Maybe he'll join the army, as we were saying, and like in 10, I don't know, however many years time, he'll be like, actually, the reason I'm here is because of the interaction with yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that also goes to just evidence what you've been saying through the whole podcast, which is you joined the army obviously because you have a personal interest, but actually you want to do a service for your community. And hats off to you. I have to admit, like, as I said, I come from a very anti-establishment household, and I think that's colored a lot of my views over the years. And so I was looking forward to having this conversation, because who else better to get the information from than someone who's in it? No, thank you. Thank you for driving up. Thank you for the 2 hours of your time here, and also obviously thank you because you got in as well. So thank you so much. Yeah, that was brilliant, man. Thank you. Oh wow, that was good. That's really good. And obviously those bits I will cut out. And I will send you a version of it before it all goes live and stuff today. Sure. Mad. Yeah, that was really good.